6 o'clock.
Yeah, Monday after. Because I was in a hurry right the first part. And necessarily, I'm not aware of any. I'm not aware of any. That's what it is. So he's going to change their video.
Still sitting.
That's very true.
And did you get your doctor's clearance? No.
Totally get started here.
I would like to announce that quorum is present. The meeting is duly called. The notice of the meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. The time is now 6 p.m. The following board members are in attendance: Tracy Miller, Allison Lasan, Angie Cox, Christy Hassett, Jenny Prosnick, Rhonda Timish, and Catherine Sells. I've asked Ms. Cox to lead us in prayer.
Please bow your heads with me. Dear Heavenly Father, we ask of you tonight to please be with us as we have our meeting tonight. And this is a great month, and always to be thankful for things. And we are so blessed in LISD and all the blessings that you give us and wrap around our students. We just ask during these times that you be with those who need you much in prayer and are asking of you, and just be with us through this holiday season. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you all so much. Dr. Rapp?
Yes, our I statement for this evening is in the Community Engagement Cornerstone. I go above and beyond to serve. In your folders, I've included for you just a quick reminder of our customer service foundational principles that our training's been built on, and I just wanted to give you some quick numbers. We did complete year 2 of customer service training this fall, and we've trained over 280 staff members attending as campus teams. And they all have been trained, in addition to the training we did last year, on the areas of friendly, committed, and resourceful.
Thank you. Persons desiring to address the Board of Trustees must fill out a speaker's card. No presentation shall exceed 3 minutes. The board cannot deliberate on any subject that is not included on the agenda. I do not have any speaker's cards at this time. There are none. We will now convene into closed session as authorized by the Texas Government Code Sections 551, specifically 551.071 and 074. The time is now 6:03 p.m. We will now reconvene into open session. The time is 6:11 p.m. Would someone like to make a motion regarding the possible action on the proposed mid-contract termination of James Moore?
I'll do it.
Ms. Hassan?
I move that the board accept the superintendent's recommendation and propose mid-contract termination of the term contract of James Moore for good cause, and to direct the superintendent to deliver the appropriate notice of proposed termination to the employee in accordance with legal requirements.
Do I have a second? Ms. Cox? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Vote carries 7-0. On to our discussion items. Dr. Rapp?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I'm going to ask Ms. Gedry to go ahead and start making her way to the front, along with her co-presenters and students who are here this evening to talk about our SOAR showcase. I know that over the last several years, many of you have been able to attend the showcases. I know, though, this last summer, Ms. Prosnick had requested the opportunity to get to hear from the team about SOAR specifically. So that's what we're going to do this evening. And as I said earlier, we've got a special treat for you. We're going to have a VR goggle experience here in just a few minutes as part of the presentation. And then we also have these wonderful students who participated in SOAR this summer as well. So I'm going to let Ms. Gedry introduce herself and them, and then we have the digital learning team here. SOAR is a really integrated effort across learning and teaching, and we just appreciate you all being here this evening. And I think I saw a parent back there and some teachers as well, so we're very proud to have them here with us.
Well, good evening. And thank you so much for this opportunity to share with you about our SOAR program. SOAR stands for Supporting Overall Academic Readiness, and it is an enrichment program for our secondary English learners, so our middle school and high school students that are learning English. I'm Sarah Gedry. I have with me 3 of our students who attended SOAR, and they'll be sharing with you a little bit about, can you all hear me? Am I not in the way? Okay. SOAR serves 300 of our English learners from across the district, from all around the world. We also have an elementary version that was piloted last summer. We provide transportation from all over across the district and house with secondary summer school. We began SOAR around 2010, 2011. A group of us who had taught, before we had ESL summer school. And it was really more remedial minded. You don't know English yet, you're newcomers here, you're going to come to ESL summer school. And that really wasn't what we wanted it to be. We wanted, we saw an opportunity to give students so much more and to expand to students that were not just newcomers here, but to some of our long-term students who had some academic gaps. We faced a huge challenge in that every student that came had different gaps. Every student was at a different level of English. We wanted to make sure we had founded in research opportunities for comprehensible input and low-stress opportunities for output. We know that's the key to language acquisition, and so we designed SOAR to be more like a camp than an extension of the school year. We embraced project-based learning so that students would have an authentic problem to solve and opportunities to really engage in communication and reading and writing, listening and speaking in English, while also demonstrating some of those gaps, giving our teachers opportunities to see, oh, this is an area that you've missed something in, and we're gonna have that opportunity right here to address that gap and fill that need. Here is a picture of our growth. You'll notice between 2015 and 16, several things happened. The most significant was that we had ESL liaisons at our campuses who were direct contact for students to enroll in SOAR, people to invite them specifically. We also began offering English 3 in the afternoons so that our students that were really dedicated to learning English, behind in credits, overaged, but really wanted to graduate or really wanted to have the opportunity just to take a CTE class, could come, go to SOAR in the morning, and then stay until 5 p.m. and get that English 3 for original credit. And some of those students are here with us. It is a rigorous day. Here are some of the highlights from the last 5 years. Some of the projects. We have held to the PBL format, and that we have a guiding question that students come around and engage in teamwork with. We also have used a lot of technology. Some of our students have never experienced, never held technology. Some of our students had never held a pencil. So we've collaborated with our technologists, and this summer we gave every student a common background experience to go forward with their project with, and we'd like to give you that opportunity. I'll pass the mic to Ann.
So, yes, we've been lucky enough for the last few years to partner digital learning with SOAR and really open up and make sure that kids of all interests have an entry point into whatever that PBL experience is. So with the virtual reality, we were really thinking about how do kids solve problems around natural disasters if they've never experienced what that aftermath is or what some of those real issues could be. And although pictures can do that, really having an immersive experience really brings in some emotional connections to some of those problems that maybe they would not have gotten to really experience in another way. So what you have in front of you, there are some field logs. There's only, I think we spread them out, and it was basically a way for students to kind of have a little bit of direction when they were in the virtual reality experience, giving them some ideas of what to be looking for as they go through those experiences. As you can tell, we went through quite a few different natural disaster experiences. They used Mac laptops, they used iPads, iPods, and the Oculus Go goggles. So we gave them a variety of devices to experience those 360-degree videos on. So today what we've chosen for you are two experiences. We're going to have you start with the iPod first. The iPod is one of the things that we have some VR goggles that these actually go into so they can get the real 360 immersive. But what's nice about this is if it works on an iPod, it works on a student's iPad. So they have access to 360-degree virtual experiences all day, every day, really, through their student iPad. So if you hit your button on your iPad or your iPod, it should pull up a screen. And if anybody needs any assistance, a couple of our teammates are here to help me out since there's one of me and lots of you. There should be a video that's about an earthquake. If you click on the video and turn your iPod landscape mode, you can turn the volume up if you'd like, the reason that this is a great thing to do here is you're all sitting in chairs that rotate. So for safety, we always have students remain sitting. Make sure you look up, look down, spin yourself around so you're nice and safe in your chair, and you can experience, tip your iPod around so you can get that experience.
That's pretty cool.
It's very cool.
Did you know when this This is what I found. Bless you.
Bless you.
Okay, so that is kind of a low resolution experience, you might say. So our elementary students use a lot of these type of experiences because of just their development and where they are physically. So the next one we're going to go to is kind of the real virtual experience, and the high schoolers can tell you that this brings things to life. So it really does expand the walls of the classroom and what you can do with these tools. So I'm going to give you a quick instruction. If you notice on your handout that's for the hurricane, we work really closely when we work with other departments. And when we work with DSL, one of the things we really focused on is making sure that we were giving instruction that students with those needs could follow. So if you notice, not a lot of words, images, so that it's very simple for those ESL students to be able to follow along. So this is how our goggles work. Again, you want to stay seated. If at any time you feel the least bit dizzy, or just take it off. Give yourself a minute. You turn it on at the top. There's a button to turn it on. But before you do that, let me explain the remote. So we're getting really high tech here. So on your remote, if you look at your remote, you can also look at your handout because the directions are there. The small button that's basically looks kind of like an oval or an ellipse, that is how you calibrate. So when you want to make sure that the remote points where you want it, you'll hold that down, and in your goggle, you'll see a little thing that spins around that says you're calibrated. The trigger, or the thing at the end, that is your mouse click. So you'll be able to just go like that and click your mouse. So hopefully, if we have them set up in the right spot, we've tried really hard to get them there, you'll be able to calibrate your remote, aim at the video, and click it to start. If that's not where you're at, raise your hand. We'll come around and make sure you get there, okay? We do clean these with antibacterial, just so, you know, like we've tried to think about all those things. There are students that use them. Most students, I'll be honest, when they're sitting, they don't even put the straps on. They just hold it up and spin. And as long as they're sitting, it's okay. We wouldn't want them up walking around. So I'm going to give you all a couple minutes to try to experience that. Remember, you need to look up, down, all around.
What are we pointing the laser at?
You just
Which
point
button?
it straight forward and hold down the bottom button.
Just see enter IVR, enter VR, point it, your controller forward.
Oh, there we go. I got it. Am I doing the Houston family? Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, Hurricane Harvey. To the file folder.
Okay, you are started, sir. You don't need to leave.
Okay, well, take them off of her if that's the case.
Probably not. Oh, it's already started.
Our Discord doesn't have the video. Do you want to see it?
Is that me? Oh.
Your right hand. So if you look down, you'll see.
Oh, God.
I am curious.
That's creepy. I'm scared of heights. Oh, my God. Do you like these?
Yeah. You get the motion. No doubt. I want some.
I clicked on it. Just a random star video.
You need to check Dr. Cameron's pockets when he leaves.
Are those barcode?
Look how crazy that is.
They have their number. Same thing.
The box is barcode checked already.
Dr. Bonner, did you?
Like loud?
Yeah, I looked at that one. Thank you.
Is it this way or is there like you're on the roller coaster and you're sitting or somewhere?
We just want to do it.
Yeah.
We picked short ones.
Y'all look so cute in the helicopter.
So we just wanted to give you a taste of kind of what the students got to experience and what that can bring to the rest of their learning and how that could possibly engage them and give them some background that they wouldn't necessarily have had.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anne. Thank you to everyone from our technology department. It's been a wonderful way to collaborate, giving our students experiences. Even year before last, our project was about creating games, and Anne brought over ways that students could code and create games. These weren't even in our realm of experience. But our students got to experiment with those and really create some really interesting things and get a taste of coding. It's been a great partnership. Our curriculum is designed, Rebecca's here, Andrew's here, some of our teachers that work right here with us in LASD helped design this curriculum, and we're very intentional about making sure that it's cohesive but very different from a regular school year. We specifically have time in our day for students to look at a project through a math and science lens, through an ELA and social studies lens. There's time every day built in for SSR, and we make sure we have reading materials that are at their interest level, at a middle school, high school interest level, but also accessible. Some of our students really love team building time, which is active, where students really create relationships and friendships and learn how to work together and communicate as a team. Everything is intentional. Even our teacher selection. Back in 2013, 2014, we were recruiting teachers. Come on, you want to work this summer? This year, I had to turn almost as many away as I could hire. And that speaks to the success of our program, the success of our students. That teachers want to be involved in this. They enjoy it. We are constantly gathering reflections from our teachers and our students and doing things better every year. At this time, I want to pass the mic down to these ladies who have come to share with you a little bit about their own experience. Actually, y'all have a mic. Eliana, would you like to start us off? Just say your name, introduce yourself to our board, and share what you have for us.
Afternoon, my name is Eliana Briseño. I am a 10th grade student in Kilo High School. When I was in SOAR, we did many fun activities like watch video with the goggles. Really was a new experience for me and for friends. And we made inventions to fight the natural disasters. In this camp, the groups made a model about their invention. My group called our model security basement. And we learned many about the different natural disasters like the hurricanes and tornadoes and earthquakes. Also, I benefit with this camp most because I practice and learn English. And in only 3 weeks, I got the English 3 credit. This is the best option to the students because we can spend most better our summer learning and doing nice activities with teachers and friends each day.
Thank you, Eliana.
Hi, my name is Johanna Herrera. Summer camp is the one and the best idea to spend your summer time because you have the fun, practice your English, and meet new people from how you can learn from this knowledge. The biggest benefits I had and the camp was to do my English class 3 and the few weeks and do activities that help strengthen my English and make them more fluent. This camp is the best idea to spend your summer. You will learn, you will have fun. Every minute you will use something that will help you learn and the new things for your student and the better future. If my summary the word summer, the word sir, for me personally is the world and the best opportunity for of those people who are the beginning to learn the English language.
Thank you.
Hello, I am Jamie Mendoza. I had a fun experience at SOAR. My experience at SOAR was really fun, also not just because we get to learn, but because we get to make new friends. And friends make everything easier to learn. Like my English wasn't as high as it is now. I really didn't like English because I really wasn't good at it at all. And SOAR actually also helped me with my English, but not just with that, but they also helped me with my shyness. Like, I was very shy, and going to SOAR and meeting new people, like, got rid of my shy, and, like, now I'm not rid of my shy anymore. So, like, I got to meet new people, have fun. My experience there was really cool, not just because I didn't get to stay home and, like, be lazy, not do anything. Also, like, SOAR really helped out a lot, not just in learning and friendships and stuff, but also because every single minute you will learn something new, and you never know how it's gonna go. Like, you might like it, you might not, but if you don't like it, you'll end up liking it at the very end.
Thank you.
We're not going to play this video because you got to see our students right here. But I want to thank you so much for the opportunity here to share this with you. Thank you for those of you that have come to see our showcase. That is the culmination of our project. They work throughout the program and then share whatever they've created. They share it with models to prepare for a natural disaster. But they share it with confidence. And to see students that have been learning English share with confidence is absolutely priceless. So I hope we invite you. We don't know our dates yet. I know you are going to discuss the calendar. But I do want to go ahead and invite you to come to our showcase this summer and to cheer on our students. Thank you very much.
Does the board have any questions or comments? And we'll start with Ms. Cox.
Wonderful presentation, girls. You did an amazing job, so kudos to you. I love hearing the experience and how much fun you had. So my question is, how are students selected, and what would be your cap for the program?
That's a great question. Our students are invited. Any student that is currently an English learner is invited. Flyer invitations go out to every ESL class specifically, and at almost every campus, we're able to go and give a short video presentation to those students. Also, our students that are no longer served specifically in English classes, in ESL classes, are also invited. Sometimes flyers are passed out. Sometimes we get them a video as well. Emails go out to their families as well. But everyone is invited. So far, we have been able to support anyone that is willing to come. This year, our budget is tighter. We are exclusively funded through Title III. But we hope to continue to support any student that would like to come.
So just to one more piggyback question on there.
Yes.
So it shows 6 through 12,
Yes.
is that correct? So do you go to the 5th graders that are incoming to 6th, or you have to already be in 6th grade?
We start with students that are currently in
So
sixth
middle
grade.
school to high school?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Ms. Timish?
Thank you, girls. Fabulous presentation. You did a great job. So what time does SOAR start in the morning? Because you mentioned that.
Yeah.
One of you tell me?
Start with breakfast.
Is it hard getting up in the mornings?
And my bus was always there early, so I would make sure to wake up even more earlier than I would normally. Once I almost did miss the bus, but hopefully it did wait for me. It was a tough experience, but it still waited for me. I'm not really sure when it starts because I was way too distracted with my friends and stuff.
Sounds like a good thing.
So yeah.
And then was it hard? Is 6 through 12 how do you break out? Are you with kids of all those different ages, or are you just with students that are just in your grade? No, I'd like for them. Yeah.
depend, like, so like take English 3, I was all the morning, the afternoon. I don't remember, like 10 to, no, like 8 o'clock to 5, something like that. So, but we have time to, and like be relaxed, and sometimes we read and write and go to the gym, and like do something funny, but also we learn in that activities, and well, like you are learning, but it's funny. No, it's like, no, I don't like this. No, but
Thank you. Okay, you haven't spoken yet. Can you tell me what one of your favorite parts about the camp was?
my favorite part is the new technology. It's amazing. Yeah, I really is a good. And the other part is the new friends. Yeah, and the different grade. And they play like my English 3. Yeah, is a favorite part.
Oh, well, thank you.
Mr. Miller?
I appreciate you answering my questions. No more, President.
Mr. Miller?
Thank you. So I'm not going to ask my technical questions because I want to focus on this. And hey, the three of you, there are a lot of people that are very confident in English sitting back here that have advanced degrees that do not want to be sitting where you're sitting.
That's right.
And so thank you for doing that. This is really special. And I know all of you who work here know about it, know it's special, those who visited, but this is a difference maker. And so, again, my technical questions are really not important tonight, Dr. Rapp. But thank you. And that was a great way for us to really just understand what happened with Katrina, right? Or, I'm sorry, Harvey. Because we heard a lot about Harvey and the business that we do and the impact that would have on us, our ability to build schools here and that type of thing. So it was very personal to us and things that we had to do as a board. So seeing some of that and the impact is really helpful to us. So thank you for that, and appreciate you all having the guts to get up here and talk to us. Thank you.
Ms. Hassan?
Thank you, ladies, so much for being here. So my question for you guys is, did SOAR, what did it change for you? Like when you completed SOAR, did you want to do something different at school? Did you want to take different classes? Did you think, oh, this changed a little something for me?
Well, in my opinion, I did change my classes because natural disasters could like count as science, and science was really hard for me. But like I changed it to a better like level, like an upgrade level, just because I feel like I was prepared because SOAR like prepared me for it. And right now, every single like our first chapter was like about natural disasters, and I was like, oh, I know this, I know that, and it was pretty easy. Like, and a bunch of kids were like asking, how do you know this? I'm like, SOAR.
That's awesome.
For my opinion, no change, nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a crazy, sir.
That's okay.
In my opinion, change little bit because that natural disaster is something new for me. The hurricanes, tornadoes, that never happened in my country, so it's really scary. Like think, oh, everything will be. What's up? Why? Like really, like before, I don't know nothing about that. But now I know what I can do in that moment because it's really like maybe a tornado can be here tomorrow or in 1 year, I don't know. I'm more in Texas. I feel like scary, but I know what I can do, what I don't do in that moment. Really, I like what we learn. So because I like the science. But I don't take the class for other class. No.
That's okay. That's great. Thank you so much for being here.
We do, and the video that I had as my backup that these ladies came through. One of our students went on and took some CTE classes. He actually exited from ESL after his year in SOAR. We have other students that are at some of our community colleges and universities that have come, that were able to graduate on time because they took advantage of the Sheltered English 3.
I am so glad that the rest of the board gets to see your work. I was so moved this summer when I came and saw the natural disaster presentations. So I'm going to get on you three ladies again. So Johanna, could you explain what your group consisted of? Like, did everybody have the same native language? How did you do your project? Alana, you can answer. Yeah.
But my team speak Spanish, so it's more easy for communicate. But we can understand what the teacher say. But example for me, it's more hard. It's like maybe I say the word like is, or I say other thing. Is scary. But when we did the presentation, because when we finished the model and we did the videos about what that natural disaster we take, example, we take the tornadoes, so we did the security management, so we try to speak English and communicate with other child.
Okay, good.
We do. Obviously, 60% of our English learners do speak Spanish, so we will have some groups that are only Spanish speakers, but we have 80 different languages, and so sometimes the groups are very diverse, and they're required to use English to communicate and work together.
That was one of the things I discovered when I was there. Is I went to a team, and each one of the members of the team had a completely different native language, and so they were forced, if you will, to their only common language was English to do their project. So you mentioned Title III funds, and we're not getting as many of those as we used to. And so actually my next question is really for Dr. Rogers, which is Ms. Barron, who does the elementary program, the Newcomer Summer Academy, which is the elementary version of this. Is that going to be available this year?
We will continue to offer the same as what we always have. And, as Sarah said, the funding, while we've lost some Title III funding, it's still been enough for these programs. And so certainly if we have more students than it's not, then we'll come back and visit with you.
I also want to give a shout out to Dr. Hart, who writes the grants that you all receive to get this. And she does a really, really good job of that you know in advance that you will be able to do this. And so I know she's not here, but I'll give her a shout out for being a really good partner in this. Well done, ladies.
Ms. Hassett. I'm also a little disappointed. Is it ESSA funding that reduced it to Title III, Title IV funding? Is that at the time frame?
In the past, we've had an additional immigrant grant, and the way that was calculated changes from year to year, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And we did not receive that immigrant funding this year, so that we used that immigrant funding. That provided all of our funding for NISA, and most of our funding for SOAR as well. So we're prioritizing these summer programs, and I'm very thankful for Dr. Hart's help in doing that. But yes, we're going to continue.
And we know that one of the things coming up, just to mention quickly, that impacts the Title I, Title III, and Title III funding is the results of the census.
Right.
So it's really important when people come around to do the census because our federal funds are based on those numbers. The Title III grant, the immigrant grant specifically, is related to coding of students and dependent on questions that they answer, and so it just varies depending on if you have families who actually meet the qualifications of answering those questions that would have immigrant status. And so that's not something that's easily predictable from year to year.
So census would really help almost all the titles.
The census helps all the titles, yes, it absolutely does.
So we need to make sure to explain to the parents why this is important to us. All the questions that pertain.
Yes.
Great presentation, ladies. Great job. I have loved SOAR for the past few years. And y'all have such fun at SOAR, but when we come to the showcases, you can definitely see that y'all have learned quite a bit about the topic at hand. It's always exciting to see what y'all are learning. Also, like, was it last year with the boards?
Yes.
Yes, I
Yeah,
remember
creating
last
things.
year they were very excited. They would each come and do their own open presentation for the people who were coming, but wanted to try everybody else's and the interaction between the kids when they were showing off their game board versus the ones who were coming. That was a great interaction. I did see another time where one of the students came up to try one of the game boards, and he spoke Russian. And so the interaction between the kids, oh, you speak Russian. So they were interacting about the unique language that they hadn't heard before. So that was also a fun benefit to watch them interact. And so it's a great program that y'all are able to have fun and learn at the same time, because that's definitely the way we would like it. We appreciate all the work.
And now so my first question is for the girls. Why do you think that some of your friends don't come? And is there something we can do to make it where they would come?
Well, sometimes, like I said, once I almost missed the bus, and my friend called me. She was like, "Are you coming?" I'm like, "What time is it?" And she was like, "It's time for you to come to SOAR." And she was like, "I'm sending my mom to pick you up or a friend." I'm like, "No, I think my brother could take me. It's fine." And she was like, "You're coming to SOAR though, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." And like, friends really influence for you to come. I really think it's really cool how you can make new friendships. So if we're like, oh, like sometimes at school, some friends like, "Oh, she didn't come." Okay, oh well. But at SOAR, a bunch of kids were like, "You need to come to SOAR." Because like it would be like a little group of friends and stuff, and like everybody has their own personalities and stuff like that. There's like the nice one, there's the one that always brings like food, or like the class clown and stuff. So like everybody had their own little personality. So we would always encourage each other to come to school or SOAR and not to miss any day. There were some people who did miss some days because like they either felt sick and like didn't come at all. But most kids in my group really came. So I really can't explain how you could help. I would really like to, but I really can't because a bunch of kids in my group were always there.
Johanna, you can do this. Go, Johanna.
My friends is influence from me and assist and the sir. Like always is it, "Sir, go, sir." I guess
Are there any friends that didn't go to SOAR? I think that's kind of what Ms. Sells wanted to know. If there are friends that didn't go to SOAR,
And why do you think that is? Because I know that in SOAR, can you correct me if you don't have to come the first day, correct? You can come in at any part of the program, correct?
Do you have friends that like didn't come, that maybe wanted to come, or?
think maybe some students think like we are in summer and it's in the school. Maybe it's bored. It's like the normal school and they don't know how it's so. Maybe they are doing nothing in the house. But I think if you also say like so nice like the school, like you are the teacher only speak, you are writing or reading. No, we did many activities and really it's funny. So maybe they say, oh, maybe I can go, maybe I will like.
Y'all are good recruiters, is
Yes.
what you're saying.
And I guess that's my question. Are the kids that are part of SOAR able to share on their campuses or share with their peers and those that are eligible what SOAR really is? Because in their words, it's very different than what it looks like on paper probably to another child.
Absolutely. Word of mouth has been huge in getting more students. And part of our little video advertisement that we share with the students each year are clips from the previous year and some student testimonials. So we make sure that goes out to all of our teachers, and our ESL teachers are sure to share that.
And is that shared with the parents too?
Some it is. We can make sure that does go out to parents.
I think
as
for
well.
a parent wondering, what is my child going to be doing there? And I don't want, I want them, from one side, I can see a parent thinking, I want my child to enjoy summer, not understanding that they're not setting in a project for 8 hours of that day,
Yeah.
So I think that I would love to see that. And I don't know how that language, how to share that, but maybe that would be a great opportunity for the students to be able to share with their parents a little bit about what they would be doing or what their friends have been doing to do that. And then, once again, I know that it's probably easy to track the English 3 success.
Mhm.
Are we doing anything in tracking those others that are part of this in?
Well, we've talked about the need to track the students in their next classes. What we'll have to do in order to go back and do that is start putting some coding into our system for who attends SOAR and then be able to look at what they do afterwards. So that we do have the need for that, absolutely, but we don't have that established at this time.
Okay. But you are looking at those for the English 3.
We are. We're tracking that, and we've been pulling their TELPA scores and their testing scores. What we're finding from the students reflecting is that SOAR is so much more than the academic aspect. It's the confidence, it's relationships, it's learning a new culture. So those things are hard to measure. But yes, we are following those students forward and keeping all of that, all of those questions in mind. Yes.
And we did talk about even sending some questionnaires to the students, the upcoming teachers that have them after SOAR, and getting some feedback from the teachers as well.
Absolutely.
That's right. And I love sharing, you all sharing here. Sometimes, were you a little bit scared? Maybe a little bit, yeah, but you all did remarkable, and congratulations for being part of SOAR and to be able to be mature enough to come and speak in front of a scary group like this. So, thank you all. Yes.
One thing maybe you could put on the stories as you try to get more students or teachers was the graduation that you had in the summer for that one boy.
Yes.
It was a great success story for him.
Yes.
Others might be in the same boat and see a lot of value.
We're very proud to make that happen. Yes. Thank you so much for your help in that. We had a student that needed 2 more classes to graduate, and so he was able to do that at SOAR, and we celebrated as as anyone that finishes that difficult task should be celebrated.
Thank you all for coming, and thank you for presenting this and giving us just a glimpse. And for those, I've been there, and it's been remarkable. You walk away with just a true sense of where you all, the effort that you put into it and the caring that you have for these kids. And then also for you all coming and getting up every morning, thank you. That's hard during a summer, and we appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank y'all very much.
Well done.
You better not. Hey.
Gee.
Dr.
Yes,
Rapp?
so in transition, just real quickly, I would be remiss if I did not just say, Miss Gedry and Miss Emery, before they became secondary ESL coordinators, both taught in our school district and were great ESL teachers in the classroom, and we're so thankful for their leadership overall. Thank y'all so much. Well, so Miss Seeley is going to present to us this evening some information.
Follow that.
I know.
Yeah, really. This
I
will be
feel
quick.
like it looks really lonely up there. I'll come sit with you if I need to. I know.
Keep moving.
So anyway, we're going to talk about updates that the College Board has made to their pre-AP program. I know we've written about this in the weekly update, but we thought it would be good to bring a presentation to you all about it as well.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to really provide an update this evening around these changes from College Board, and very specifically around the new pre-AP program. I really hope to address 3 questions in this presentation. What is this new pre-AP program from College Board? What does the new program require of districts, campuses, and teachers for participation? And then how will we as a district respond to these changes? All right, let me just start with a little bit of background. Unlike the advanced placement or the AP program from College Board, pre-AP is a label that was supported through professional learning, but not really through any consistent learning outcomes or any specific courses from the College Board. Districts, we were under no formal expectations from College Board when choosing to decide which courses we labeled as pre-AP. These were district decisions outside of any expectations from the College Board. In their resulting research around pre-AP, College Board found that 84% of the respondents from Texas were offering courses labeled pre-AP, while 23% nationwide. Publishers were selling pre-AP materials without any real direct guidance or endorsement from College Board, since there were no written standards. Unlike the AP, higher education really could not judge the quality or the rigor of any pre-existing pre-AP courses, since there were no formalized outcomes for any of those courses. Schools use the label pre-AP in very different ways. Some only use that when it truly is the course prior to an AP course. This label is sometimes used for courses with absolutely no connection to any advanced placement courses, without any clear connection. So being used in a lot of different ways. So as a result, a formal pre-AP program is being designed by the College Board. All right, the new pre-AP program has 2 specific outcomes and goals. Number 1, to significantly increase the number of students who are eligible to access and complete college level, like AP, before leaving high school. Goal number 2, to improve the college readiness for all students. Now, with those 2 goals in mind, the new pre-AP program is designed as courses for all students and would become the baseline course. So pre-AP would not be used as a label to describe an advanced level of coursework, but the only course offered in certain subjects with that label. The program launched in the fall of 2018 with 8 new courses, primarily for 9th grade students.
added this year included chemistry, geometry with statistics, and then English 2. The ones offered last year were English 1, Algebra 1, kind of a combination world history and geography course, biology, and then you got some courses that were more in the fine arts realm, theater, dance, visual art, and then music. New high school courses will be added in this new pre-AP program before any consideration will be given to middle school courses. Courses come with a cost for participation and are assessed at a per course, per campus, per year basis. So these pre-AP courses come with a full set of curriculum frameworks that outline areas of focus, key concepts, and include model lessons for teachers to use. The frameworks are built around a set of shared classroom routines and approaches to the content. Instruction in this new pre-AP course should include intentional lesson design around those 4 bullet points: close observation and analysis, evidence-based reading and writing, higher order questioning, and academic conversations. So to offer these new pre-AP courses, along with the fees, there are specific requirements of districts, campuses, and teachers. Pre-AP courses would be, or pre-AP teachers would be required to submit a syllabus to College Board. This audit process is one we're very familiar with for advanced placement courses, but this would be new for pre-AP teachers. Teachers and districts must align instruction in the pre-AP courses to the frameworks. Teachers must administer the digital assessments provided by College Board. These assessments occur both during the course and some after. Most of the courses include 8 digital assessments per course and 4 student performance tasks per course. Some of these also come with a digital final exam. Teachers must take part in the pre-AP professional learning in order to teach a pre-AP course. Campuses and districts must offer these courses with open access to all on-level students, making pre-AP in those courses the baseline course. And then districts and campuses must attest that they are implementing this program with fidelity. Districts may no longer refer to courses as pre-AP unless they agree to the formal participation requirements. So College Board has laid out a 5-year timeline for implementation of this new pre-AP program. In the 2018-2019 school year, Cohort 1 began. This school year, a second cohort launched. What is probably most important to LISD is what's in that last column. By the 22-23 school year, schools may no longer use the pre-AP label on any course unless they are part of the official pre-AP program from College Board. The label requires commitment to the new program and all requirements. So, with these drastic changes to the pre-AP, Dr. Rapp put together a work group to evaluate these changes and really consider the impact to LISD. Fabulous work group, consisted of 44 members and was made up of principals, assistant principals, counselors, teachers, and content leaders from learning and teaching. The group was charged with really 2 deliverables. One, we needed a mission statement around advanced academics to guide our thinking and decision making, and then really to bring forth a recommendation around these changes and requirements around pre-AP. Our first deliverable was our advanced academics mission statement, which we're pretty proud of. Students, staff, and community working cohesively to support and prepare students through multiple pathways to future college and career success. We will accomplish this by the following: creating a culture that sees all students as capable of advanced coursework. It was so exciting when she said, yes, I got really interested in science. Yes, that's exactly what we're looking for. Supporting students and families by providing awareness of all options in pursuit of long-term goals, letting student goals really drive decisions, building partnerships between community and higher education. Being future-ready requires us that we stay in touch with the needs of industry as well as our higher education partners. Nurturing and mentoring all students to develop a growth mindset. We want students to believe that skills can be developed through hard work and dedication. Fostering an open dialogue between students, parents, and staff about the availability and value of advanced courses. Ensuring challenging and transferable learning experiences that promote problem solving and critical thinking. Absolutely ensuring that our curriculum is grounded in authentic transfer of learning. Removing barriers that inhibit students from enrolling in advanced academics, really allowing motivated students an entry point with open access. So with this new mission statement and the information about the changes to pre-AP and its impact, the group was ready to bring forth a recommendation. We had the group separated into 9 different table groups for discussion. 8 out of the 9 groups recommended that LISD not implement the College Board program, but rather to design our own program outside of the pre-AP requirements. They cited considerations such as the limited number of course offerings that would be available, the strength of our own district curriculum, and the desire to come together around our own mission statement as the most important reasons for the recommendation. Moving forward, the group generated some really good questions and considerations. Since we're not able to use this term pre-AP, what are we going to call these courses? Which courses should we include in this new design? Really maintaining that focus on both college and career readiness in this new design, as well as letting the mission statement really guide the work of this next group. So the timeline for the next steps, we begin our next steps this year with another work group made up of teams of middle school and high school teachers per content area to begin this design work. We'll consider courses, the impact to curriculum, how to communicate these changes. We actually launched this second group next week, so we're really excited. The 2021 school year, we'll need to really bring teacher teams together to address any of those curriculum needs that come about in this first work group. We really need to begin communication to inform our community about these changes to pre-AP. We hope that we'll be able to implement the new design in the 21-22 school year, but by the 22-23 school year, we will no longer be able to offer any courses with the pre-AP label in LISD. So a quick overview of the pre-AP, but thank you again for the opportunity to talk about something that really will impact secondary teachers and campuses. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, and let's begin with Ms. Timish.
Thank you, Ms. Seeley. I
Sure.
really appreciate it. I know that a lot of work went into that. And what will be the parameters that LISD sets moving forward? Because you said school districts were all over the place in what they labeled AP, and I'm really almost surprised and intrigued that they would include like visual arts, music, and dance and theater as pre-AP, because it seems like that's really an overreach. But what will be the parameters that we set, or does the committee feel like setting forward with that?
The committee's really going to start with that mission statement as our basis, and really bring about some horizontal alignment to what pre-AP, or I can't call it pre-AP, but whatever this new term is. What do we believe horizontally that this new class should include? But really using that mission statement as our foundation.
And I understand that. Just pulling back. Okay, so at this point we don't know what that'll look like because we just have a mission statement that doesn't necessarily explain. Will ours be in line with, for example, AP classes that they would follow up with?
That is definitely something that we will need to consider, because we also need vertical alignment. These classes will need to build those skills that are required for AP, as well as dual credit, as well as courses that might offer certification that are traditionally offered at the post-secondary level.
And how will we ensure the rigor of our pre-AP classes as we're writing the curriculum if we're going to do this in-house?
AP has very clear guidelines.
Correct.
We know exactly what, so we will just build backwards.
I really appreciate, as I was listening to all the things that the College Board was wanting, I just kept writing more and more and more questions. I'm like, and funding, underlining the cost of it is almost, I'm sure, prohibitive. Do we have a cost of if we were to do this with what they're proposing? Do you know what it would cost if we went with what College Board is saying it would take to do pre-AP classes?
What's posted on their website right now is $3,000 per class, per campus, per year. But there are discounts available for the number of pre-AP courses that you were offering.
But that
at the
doesn't
campus
include
level.
the professional training that's required for every teacher. I mean, that's just the start. So you didn't give a final, like if we did a general idea. I always like for our community to understand this is what it would have cost, and we're going to do it in-house, and it's going to be better and more cost-effective. I just always like to, I always know that we do it better. So.
Yeah, and we can definitely work up a cost analysis. One of the challenges and it actually was fairly frustrating to the group, just the College Board has adjusted even their guidelines for what it's going to cost from last year to this year. So I think it's a little bit of a moving target for the College Board as they're just in their second cohort, which is fine. It just makes it hard to come up with an overall analysis of what would be the dollar amount for this experience.
Or if we wanted to move forward, the flip side is it would be really hard to know how to budget because they keep moving the goal line.
Mm-hmm. And middle school is so far down on their roadmap. You know, they're really tackling high school first, so you really don't even have an idea of what the middle school landscape would look like that they'll end up creating either.
And is there any talk within, I know Dr. Rogers is in several cohort groups, is there any talk with those of name for like what this would be?
No, there hasn't been any. I'm sure that we will. You know, when we were seeing this presentation the first time, I mean, you have to understand, one, while a lot of districts do use the term pre-AP, a lot don't. Some of our neighbors don't. Plano doesn't use the term pre-AP. They use the term honors. I mean, have. So, you know, I think it makes sense that the College Board is trying to get a handle over their name, pre-AP. But it also makes sense for us to look at something different since it's never been related to that. And we've had pre-AP courses that certainly don't lead to a subsequent AP course. So, I mean, it's really just been a mismatch. So I think this gives us a great opportunity to step back and to look at it and to even do a better job, even though the pre-AP curriculum is curriculum we wrote. I mean, it's our people, not from the College Board currently.
Great presentation. Thank you so much.
Mr. Miller?
Karen, I'm glad I read ahead because I started thinking, you know, College Board, and then I saw the answer towards the end, so I was relieved. So a couple questions. Today, the curriculum is ours.
That's correct.
The curriculum for pre-AP that is used for readiness of AP classes at the high school level is ours.
Yes.
So is there a lot of, other than renaming it, is there really a large amount of work that's going to go into this, or is it going to be tweaking?
One of the things that the committee really liked about the new pre-AP program was that there were these shared principles that were, like, you know, explicitly applied in every pre-AP class. So I can see when we bring that back up with the committee next week they may be interested in, like in a pre-AP class, these are the things that we're going to, kind of guarantee that are happening.
Okay, so that would be in line with, though, really kind of continuous improvement, though, right? I mean, if there's some more, if there's a better pedagogy around how to do this or whatever, this is just going to open up the door for you to kind of officially go in and rethink some of that.
Yes.
Okay.
It's definitely an opportunity to just step back, take a look at everything we have had labeled pre-AP, and see if we need to continue with that kind of roadmap.
When the College Board uses the term framework, is this, so I think about APUSH and the whatever curriculum that they had, is that a framework? That when they use the term framework, is that what they're talking about? Use our curriculum to get to whatever you have to do to take that APUSH exam? Or is that a different?
I think that they're used the same way. Their curriculum frameworks come with big ideas, kind of broken into units, essential questions, enduring understandings, very specific content type of outcomes as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad the committee said no, because I was, I think we've been lulled with the new Department of Ed secretary into thinking that Common Core is not still a viable threat because it's not discussed as much. But David Coleman still maintains a very strong position that his job at College Board is to propagate the Common Core state standards. So I'm all for any deviation from that, and I think, like Rhonda was saying, I'm confident that you guys, I think tweaking it is good. It's an opportunity, the door's open to kind of make it better based on, if there's a way to look at some of the things that they suggest or that we see being done elsewhere, great. But we're eager to not conform to what they're asking us to outside of the economics, but just as a matter of principle. So thank you.
Don?
Thank you, Ms. Seeley. And I also ditto what Mr. Miller said about, I am glad that at the committee's decision, I think it's definitely the right one, that for y'all to, do this ourselves label. The one question I did have, and I think the reason I'm going to bring it up is because it was brought up to me by a teacher, and it was just on your mission statement where it sees all students as capable of advanced coursework, and then the other part was removing barriers. And the reason why I bring that up is a teacher had expressed to me some concern about a student that was in a pre-AP class who wasn't reading on, and let's just say it was 7th grade, wasn't reading on a 7th grade level. And so that teacher was kind of having to teach down, it just becomes hard. So when we're thinking about, maybe you can kind of explain to me, like when you're thinking about advanced coursework, I mean, I would think that there would be some minimum, for a child to be in there. Now, I'm glad that, if it's, an English language learner who is capable of it but just doesn't have English yet, I mean, that's one thing. But do you see where I'm going with this? Did that give you enough of a question?
We'll let Dr. wrap in.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the reasons why College Board made this move, and they'd had this on their website for a long time, so I'm going to start there, is that they really never intended there to be courses that were gateways to AP classes. Because ultimately, if there are barriers to getting to AP, and there's something I should have done before that would have helped got me ready, then I'm limiting the opportunity for students to get college credit. I'd view the same thing with dual credit. So whatever courses we put in a pathway to a dual credit or a CTE or an AP class have to be accessible to students with all different kinds of language backgrounds, reading needs. And so the instructional decisions the teachers make need to help students be able to access that content in a variety of ways. And I think having SOAR, as you mentioned right before this, is a great example of that. If I don't get to access a dual credit course because I didn't have some kind of course building towards that, and it was just I needed the content to be more accessible, I could do the assignments with more accessible content. We sure don't want to see any doors closed on kids for those reasons.
No, I just think College Board needs money. I think they are in desperate need of money because they're making kids who take AP courses pay for the test in October. I think they need a crowd fundraiser. It's my personal opinion. My question to you is, when you're looking, you've got the mission statement. Are you going to be looking at both middle school and high school at the same time, or are you just going to focus on high school?
We have 25 of each coming. We have
Okay.
25 middle school teachers and 25 high school teachers coming next week.
So it'll be, my point is that we're looking at both sections. We're not
Yes,
just
ma'am.
going to, like College Board is just focusing right now on high school.
Yes.
We are not planning on that course. And then, I just think you call it advanced academics because it's in your mission statement. And then the next question I think that we're going to have to address is how do we address this with our weighted GPA? What does that look like in that?
Right.
And are we going, that's just part, that needs, I think that needs
We'll
to
have
be
to address that.
Yeah.
part
And
of
we're
that
aware of that.
discussion.
Luckily, we have a couple years.
Got a couple of years to get on that. And then I concur with my fellow trustees in that I appreciate the committee's decision making process on that. I would just ask that we, when making those courses, that we are thoughtful in our communication when it comes to counselors and to parents, exactly what that course looks like. Because I think that parents, pre-AP, I think because it's a vernacular we've used in the district for so long, I think they at least believe they have an idea of what that looks like. And I think that we need to be very intentional when we say this is whatever we're going to call an honors, an advanced academic, whatever we end up calling it, that we are very intentional in saying exactly what is going to be covered in that course. Thank you.
And we'll report back to the board probably a year from now, about this time. So I'm sure Karen's looking forward to that.
We really are. We have a fabulous group coming. I think most of the people that were on the initial committee, teachers are coming back for this second round, plus, but all balanced with all the content areas as well. So we're excited to get started.
Ms. Hassett?
I greatly appreciate the committee's work in evaluating the process fully, and I greatly appreciate committee's greatly support it. My questions really evolve around the mission statement. I love the idea that you're evaluating, because currently you write the curriculum right now, but you're reevaluating the curriculum with the courses based on the mission statement. So I love this idea, and I'm wondering why can't we use the same idea in our on-grade level courses, of course, when you're done with this grouping, not right away. Just how can we make sure that we also have on-grade level courses having the same kind of values and missions and objectives for our students? And then how are you also going to making sure that these new academic courses fit well with any of the other on-grade level courses as the children move through from course to course?
I think that's a very important point because pre-AP is not a prerequisite, or whatever it's called, to entering either a dual credit or an NAP course. So yes, we have to ensure that all those skills are taught.
Thank you.
Do you have anything?
Yes, I think.
Mr. Miller has something else?
Mrs. Cox.
Ms. Cox has something. Oh, Ms. Cox.
Mr. Miller's time's up.
Yes.
My turn.
Sorry.
Sorry, Mr. Miller. Yes, I'm looking forward to the continued work of the committee, so I'm very appreciative. So my questions are all piggybacked off of this is what you get for going last. So I'm looking forward to the cost savings, Dr. Rapp. I feel it will be, since our district is preparing it, but there is a lot of work that goes in, so it will be interesting to see if there is. So I'll look forward to that cost analysis of the committee. Then my next question is what are we doing to prepare our students for these classes to make sure they are ready and capable to handle these AP courses?
One of the things that this buys us the opportunity to do, we started developing curriculum after pre-AP was already in place. So it's been a long-standing question about what is the difference in a student's pre-AP experience in our current courses given our current curriculum, because we design our curriculum to say this is the learning goals that you want to achieve in social studies, whether it be on level or pre-AP, and really the design of the classroom instruction is what makes those learning experiences different. But the goals are the same currently in pre-AP classes. So it is an opportunity in the step back to say, now that we get to kind of start from scratch a little bit, what is going to define a course that leads you to a CTE class, a dual credit class, or an AP class? And that's really where the road is broadening. Is pre-AP has been primarily about you're going to end up in AP. And we want to take a step back and say, what are the skills you need in a class in order to go one of 3 different paths? So we'll work with the teachers on defining that. We never got that opportunity back in the day because the pre-AP classes were already established and everybody had their own version of different things going on too.
Our essential question for the first meeting next week. So.
And so my last question is to go with what Ms. Hassett just said, is I totally agree is we should be challenging all of our students, no matter if it's an AP course, getting them prepared for the college experience. So whether they take an AP course or not, what does that look like from the district and just the regular gen ed classroom?
Right.
Miller?
Okay. If you want to provide this later, I'm just curious, percentage of students that access pre-AP classes versus kind of on grade level.
Yeah, we would definitely need to follow up with that. We don't have that data with us tonight.
High school and middle school?
Well, I mean, I honestly, at a high school level, pre-AP, I'm not even sure at that point the value of it. I guess there's some value if it's helping them prepare for an AP class, but it's got more rigor than a normal class, but missing something? I mean, what's the value?
There's value in it, or we wouldn't offer it.
Well, but
it's just it's just a different tier.
So would it be considered intermediate? You've got your regular math, let's say Algebra 1, or whatever that you had on the list, and then you've got pre-AP, which would be intermediate, and then you've got advanced, which would be the AP class?
Well, really, originally, any pre-AP class that was created was because it was going to lead to an AP class. Now it got out of the gate a little bit wider, and of course, as Dr. Rogers said, not every single pre-AP class leads you to an AP class. The original intent was you're going to develop those skills. In social studies, it might be how you analyze documents and read and write. You're going to start building those skills in middle school because you're going to get to an AP class ultimately. Now it's a little bit bigger than that because AP is not your only option. But that was the loose original intent of pre-AP courses. Now we also use our pre-AP classes since the GT audit to serve our GT learners. So that's where we've got a complex aspect going on with pre-AP is it's also now about serving our GT students at middle and high school. So that'll have to be part of the conversation as well.
Thinking about, for example, like calling it honors courses, right? Today, I understand at the middle school level, the parent or the student can select to be in the class. There's really no kind of regulation around. So I say I want, my daughter Angie to be in honors, and they're in it. And wow. I mean, they suffer the consequence, right? They can either perform or not, and they're going to get the grade or fail it. But today, it's not a regulated process. Would it be in the future?
Well, I think that goes, to what Ms. Lassam was asking as well, is that you really, you want the class to be designed in a way that maybe it's because I have a certain interest in that content area. Middle school, kids choose it for different reasons than why they choose it high school because of the GPA factor. But at middle school, many kids are making the choice either based on that's what my friends are going to take, or I am getting my GT services through there, or I just really like this content area and I'm going to go a little bit deeper with different types of projects and things because science really makes me geek out, right? At high school, you see the choice become a little bit more about the pursuing of the GPA points versus I really love biology, I want to do pre-AP and then AP biology. And that's why that future pathways work is interesting, that it coincides with this review as well, because what we really want kids to start doing in middle school is think about what do you want to be when you leave us, and what type of package of courses do you put together to get to that end result. And it shouldn't just be about this a la carte building of a high school experience. So there's a couple of things we're going to have to answer in this process.
Yeah, and also, I think it'll give us the opportunity of what's the purpose of pre-AP, because for some, the purpose is to serve as a gate. To me, I'd rather the purpose be to prepare kids for their next class. So I look forward to the opportunity to re-examine the whole.
So my last question is kind of around that. If I don't access this kind of intermediate honors pre-AP kind of coursework, and I get to high school and I want to take an AP class in a content area such as math or science, one, is that even really viable if I've not taken pre-AP or whatever? And two, I mean, I've heard AP teachers that say they teach to the top 80%, right? And so, what happens if I don't access all this and I'm in, an AP class in high school, and everybody's done pre-AP, and the teacher's teaching to that upper end? I mean, how do we make sure that those students that are really on grade level but taking the course to get the GPA accelerator, that they're accommodated in that?
Well, College Board intends for the AP courses to be open enrollment. So they expect that when you implement their program, you're going to do it in a way that whether I took a prerequisite course to get me there or not, you build instructional decisions into your classroom that would help students be able to access that content, because they view it as college credit. And we don't want to deny any student the opportunity to possibly earn college credit. The game changer in the conversation is the dual credit part of the conversation as well, because now students have a choice. Do they want to utilize dual credit where professors in those college courses are making decisions to accommodate student needs, or do they want to take AP? So but it's open enrollment at the end of the day.
Thank you.
And I think, yes, go ahead, Ms. Hassett.
I understand why you're saying that you want to make sure that students are ready for the courses, but I definitely concur with Dr. Rogers. I'd rather make sure that we see these as an opportunity rather than a gate. I don't want to say these classes are only limited to these kids if you look like X, Y, Z. If personally, for me, one of my sons wouldn't have looked like that and still made great strides all the way through AP courses. He could, but that's neither here nor there. So I don't want them. I want them to be the future ready rather than you can't do it because you don't look like this. So I know that that's also your intent. And I really appreciate it.
And just for me, I want to make sure, because there was college talked about a lot during this, but for an honors or whatever term we end up calling these courses, that could be for the child that goes into our firefighting academy for sciences, or maybe our children that I talked to one of our cosmetology students, and she was talking about the chemistry, and it blew my mind away that why she was in there was to get that license and to then build a cosmetic company based on the chemistry of skincare. That she blew my mind away that night. But so we're not only looking, and based on your statement, the mission statement, that is going to be in that consideration.
Did she go to the incubator class?
I don't, no, she didn't. It was like 2 years before the incubator. Yeah, but yeah, it is.
It's really kind of widening the net on what we think of as advanced academics.
Right.
That students can take AP, they can take dual credit, they can take CTE courses that lead to, certifications that are traditionally post-secondary, such as our firefighter.
And I think my fellow trustees touched on everything else. Cost, I do believe that we can do it better. I think we do a lot of things better than things that we can buy. I think we know our kids, we know our community, and I'm pleased, and I thank you for this presentation. So
Thanks,
look
Karen.
forward to hearing in a year.
Yes, thank you so much for your time tonight.
We'll put it on your calendar. Okay, I won't, before Dr. Rapp jumps in the next one, this really isn't a discussion item. This is just a requirement that we need to do to start this process that we talked to you all about. So she's going to take care of that, and then we'll move on to Mr. Ball.
Yeah, basically, this is just an information item to say that in order to solicit pre-K partnerships, we are seeking a request for proposal for pre-K full-day partnerships to meet the requirements of House Bill 3. In order to be considered for a partnership for pre-K with LISD, an early learning center must meet one of the following requirements. They need to be a Rising Star program provider with a 3-star certification or higher, are nationally accredited, are a Texas school-ready participant, and meet the requirements under TEC Section 29.1532. The proposal process is available on the LISD.net website through the Procurement and Contracts Department. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Do we have any questions, Mr. Miller?
No, ma'am, I don't. I'm sorry. I thought we were done.
Yeah,
We're done. But does anybody have any questions? Ms. Hassan, Ms. Prosnick, Ms. Hassett, Ms. Cox, Ms. Timish? Okay, thank you.
This will come back to you.
Yes.
No problem.
Okay, moving on, Mr. Ball.
Thank you, Ms. Sells. This item is an annual process. It's really sort of a housekeeping item. This is a budget amendment that authorizes the items that were ordered under the authority of the 8/31/2019 fiscal year ended budget, but the goods hadn't been received yet. So to be operating in good faith with those vendors, we need to reauthorize those. And there are 2 items here. One is for the general fund. The amount there is $3,650,265. And the second one is for the food service fund. That amount is $54,643. And that compares to, in the general fund last year, that number was about $2.8 million. And I believe in the food service fund it was about $58,000. And again, these are really just housekeeping, because if we didn't do this, what we would have to do is just stop all across the district ordering anything about 45 days before the end of the fiscal year, and then we'd create disruption at the campuses. And so this is a sort of a requirement in order to have continuity of services to our students and also operate in good faith with our vendors. And so this will be on the agenda next week for the board's consideration and hopefully approval, and certainly be happy to answer any questions the board might have.
Have any questions, Ms. Hassan, Ms. Prosnick, Mr. Hassett, Ms. Cox?
I just have a clarification. So since I've been on the board, we do this every year. So this isn't something that's going to go away. It's just because of the timing and
Right.
when our fiscal year is starting.
That's correct.
Okay.
Ms. Timish, did you?
No, I have no questions.
Okay. Mr. Miller?
I don't have any questions.
And I don't have any. Okay, moving on, Dr. Bonner.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Sells, board members, we're pleased tonight to bring to you a discussion of the assistant principal and principal interview process. As my colleague, Dr. Hire, makes her way up, we are going to walk you through the assistant principal pool interview steps. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the principal interview process. And then lastly, I'll cover some of the documents that we have in the packet that was provided as part of your board items. So, Dr. Hire, if you want to get us started there with the slides on the assistant principal interview process, that would be wonderful.
Sure, thank you. Thanks for having us this evening. The timeline is fairly simple, but it's multi-step for the APs because we want to ensure that we have the quality pool for our principals and when they make their selections with their committees. So it's multi-step, as you can read here, and it's been following the same process that we've been using, and we've been tweaking a little bit every year. So as you follow along, please let me know if you have any questions. So we start in December. And I found out that that is a little bit earlier than some of our neighbors. But the timeline works really well because we do carry it a little bit deeper, I feel, than some of our neighboring districts. The December through January, it's open, the posting is open about 30 days. And that I've been told from feedback that that does give people time to, you know, kind of rest after their duties and really look at resumes, polishing things, getting them ready to be posted on the applicant tracking system that we're using. So that has worked out well. Dr. Bonner follows up with an email to everyone in LASD, all of our employees, so that they can refer people if they themselves don't have an interest. They know good people, and we know we can attract others. Then in February, we begin the candidate screening process. I recruit a few of my friends. We sit down in our office, and we go through every single applicant. And we have had up to 226 this last year that have applied internally and externally. But we go through, and that's one of the steps that does take some time, but I think it really pays off in spades in the end because, again, building that quality applicant pool. We go through and we make sure not only does everybody meet the criteria of the job posting, but we make sure that they have updated information. And there are times where I reach out and I say, hey, would you please update your resume? I see some good things in here, but I'd like to see what you're doing today, just to see if they meet that criteria. When we have all that packaged, we make notes. And the nice thing about housing it all in the applicant tracking system, currently now TJN, is that everybody will have access to that at the principal level when they get down to interviewing. They can pull a current resume, they can pull the references, they can see everything. Then we move down from there, because I work with a lot of our student teachers and I say anybody can apply, but somebody will check your credentials. So that, I think, is a real important step. When we get past that, we go back to the assistant chiefs, which of course the team with Dr. Rapp and the assistant chiefs and chief have gone through the system and ensured that they still like the questions we're going to ask, any changes they want to see, anything aligning more with our cornerstones. And then we send out those applicants that meet that criteria for what we is known as the RIVS interview, which is a video system for interviewing. It kind of is a pre-screening of sorts where we can hear the responses. I try to tune out the video and hear the responses. And the assistant chiefs have time to go through those and kind of meet the candidates before a face-to-face interview. So they'll go through and rate them within the RIVS platform, and I think Dr. Bonner may be showing that in a bit. And then we move from there and do our invitations. I send out emails with regrets for now because we want to keep everybody viable in case we have to add to the pool. And then, of course, we send the congratulations, you're moving on to our next step. And so far, that has worked phenomenally. I've gotten really good feedback. I do open myself up to feedback for anybody who would like to know anything further, what would help bolster their resume or their credentials for next time. We then come in for our interviews in March, and we usually have teams of 2, and they include a number of people from our office, schools and learning and teaching, everybody who has held administration, campus administration level positions, principals, and we have those face-to-face interviews. Then the interviews continue, because there's always spring break in there, but they continue then until about the beginning of April. And at that time, we go through and take all of those scoring rubrics. There's a presentation is 40%. The responses, the personal responses, are about 60%, 60-40. We go through and score all that, and then bring it back, and we see where there's always a natural cut score. I always kind of get fluttery, like, oh, where's the cut score going to be? But it's a natural thing where you have a section that clearly rose to the top, and then you have a gap, and then there'll be another section. And again, we send out thank yous, congratulations, or regrets for now, because again, we want to keep that open. And then, oops, I guess I need to scoot on to where I'm talking. Then after that, we have our candidate pool, and we send that out to the principals as we have openings. Last year, we had quite a number of assistant principals hired. It was busy, but I felt really good with the pool that we had because the feedback from campuses, and it's all been informal feedback, but it has been that there have been quality people regardless of when they were able to hire in the hiring season, if it was a late hire, early hire, that they have had quality applicants. And I think we had roughly, I know we had 40 that carried over because the decision was made with Dr. Rapp and the learning and the chiefs schools that we would carry some over the year before the pool was purged, and then we carried it over. And so I think that looks like it might be a 2-year trend, and then we will have to revisit that, though, to see who's there. But we had 73 available this last year, and Dr. Bonner, I might be incorrect, 25 maybe new hires?
30.
Yeah, so there still was, I felt, and the feedback I had, a large pool to choose from.
We're going to go ahead and do the principal slides before we get into questions. So. The process for the principal interviews is similar in that there are multiple steps to the process involving the campus staff at the particular vacancy, but then also central administrative staff. It is a little bit different, however, in how we determine candidates, et cetera. Similar timeline for the vacancy at whatever campus we post for 10 days. That's state law, the minimum timeline to post. We use multiple employment websites. For example, if it's a secondary campus, TASSP, TASA, et cetera, TJN. We do communicate to all campuses, as noted, to all the current principals and assistant principals internally as well. One of the first steps we pursue is a campus staff meeting, and the purpose of that is to discuss the interview process, schedule a listening tour where we go out and do exactly as the name implies. We listen to what they're looking for. We also seek participation, who would like to sit in and be considered for the process. And we also want to talk about leadership attributes. We provide some information to them, including the job description and leadership profile that's been developed over the years. And I think I covered all that. Yeah, the leader attributes is an item that we get from the campus. We send them a Google survey doc, and it says, what are you looking for as far as leadership attributes? What kind of questions would you like to ask if chosen for the interview process? And last question, would you like to be considered for the interview process? We will get from the posting, we will get external candidates, and we'll also get internal candidates from the email that we send out. We will send the RIVS digital interview, as Sharon noted, and some of the materials I'll show you later are the questions that we ask. Unfortunately, I don't have it pulled up where we could show you an interview. The interview questions for the principal look at those things: campus climate and culture, what are your instructional priorities, and then student success strategies. RIVS is very flexible and can be used to develop. They're not canned questions. You know, you can develop a different set of questions and customize it for every position that you're looking at. We will then pull together a central administrative screening team to narrow things down. It consists of really this row. Dr. Coburn is involved, Dr. Rapp and myself, and then the assistant chief for whatever the particular campus is. And our purpose is to look at all that information, cover letter, resume, application, and the RIVS information, and narrow the pool down to take a group to the campus to review. One of the things we're looking for with principal candidates is, did they attend Leadership Matters? Very similarly, we do the same thing for the assistant principal candidates as well. So we have the pool filtering down, right? We have a candidates. We have lesser candidates that we take to the campus. The campus interview team is 4 to 6 teachers, depending on the campus. Usually the elementary has 4, or almost in every instance, the elementary has 4. As we get to the high schools, we involve more people, bigger campuses. And those individuals have opted in, but we always have more than 6 that want to participate at the high school and 4 that want to participate at elementary and middle. And so we are looking to get people that have various experience. We want some fresh new people, and we want some veteran people and everybody in between. And then at the elementary level, we want people that are representing different grade levels. And at the secondary level, we want people representing different disciplines. So we narrow that group down to the interview team, which again is 4 at the elementary and middle school and 6 at the high school, for the purposes of reviewing the information that we have on the group of candidates. At this point, we have narrowed it down usually to 10, 12, 14 candidates maybe, internal and external, okay? And we meet with the campus committee and we review, again, that leadership profile they've already been exposed to. We look at the attributes that they shared that they wanted in their next leader. We review a copy of the 4 cornerstones and the I statements. And then we break into individual time to look at the cover letter and resume and the application materials. Idea being that everybody needs to review that information, form their own opinions, because they're going to bring to us their top candidates. Excuse me. So, using that process, the campus team, as well as Dr. Coburn, Dr. Rapp, myself, and the assistant chief for that campus, narrow the group down to between 2 and 3 candidates. Candidates that were not selected out of that group and the larger group all receive an email that they were not selected to go forward. The next step we have would be the Central Interview Committee, and that would be, again, my colleagues to the left and and the assistant chief. What we endeavor to do with that top 2 or 3 candidates is interview those individuals and see a presentation from those individuals. And we'll go over those materials in a bit. We want to obviously give them a chance to show their presentation, which might include artifacts that the candidate selects. And then we always want to ask behavior-based interview questions, and we've got some of those sampled in the materials. And then finally, the candidate selection looks a little something like this. We have a rubric for the presentation and the interview scores, so it's interview format just like you might anticipate. Candidates will come in and do their presentations, then we'll have them do the interview questions in sequence, all 3 candidates, and then usually Dr. Rogers will come in and lead the selection process afterwards. Additional rounds, if necessary, are conducted afterwards. In most cases, that first round is enough to select a principal. However, sometimes it's not. And so we will schedule a second round with the candidates of interest. And then finally, the outcome is we pick a preferred candidate for the principal at that particular campus. And then the last slide is when you all consider that candidate and hopefully approve that candidate to be the principal. And we have invited the campus committee, parents, et cetera, to come up and celebrate that announcement. And then finally, after that happens, I send everyone that we did not select but that was interviewed an email letting them know that we appreciate their interest and that they were not selected. And so that is the gist of the interviews. Before we get into questions, the materials you have in your packet, I just want to run through those real quickly. You have a copy of the following. You have a interview presentation prompt that we've provided. It was actually from Kilo LHS. And then we have a scoring rubric for presentations. Actually, the one we selected was Flower Mound High School. We tried to pick a little bit of everything. You have interview questions from Kilo LHS. And then you have the applicant interview rubric that we use. I would point out on that we've developed the rubric for the interviews along the 4 cornerstones, and then a leadership component. And then lastly, you have on the document that looks like a screenshot, that's a sampling of what the RIBS framework looks like. And these are the questions that they're asked, but of course it's a video interview. And in the next section, we have something very similar for the assistant principal candidates. First item is the presentation prompt. We customize those to every interview. There's not a standard that we're just rolling out. We spend some time in the campus discussions in building that interview prompt and the scoring rubric. And then the next item you have is the assistant principal pool interviews. The questions and then the rubric are integrated into one document. And then a couple of screenshots of RIBS interview questions for the assistant principal pool. And then finally, when we were determining most appropriate information to bring to this presentation, wanted to put in the current ethnicity of our principal candidates. And you can see that information at the high school, middle school, and elementary school level. If you are like me and you want everything to equal 100, there are some rounding items. You may end up at 99 or 101 due to rounding. And then the second page is the assistant principal ethnicity for the current school year for high school, middle school, and elementary school. So I know that Dr. Hire and I'd be interested in answering any questions you might have.
Okay, and we are down to Ms. Prosnick.
Thank you very much, Ms. Cox, for asking for this presentation. It's very interesting to see behind the curtains. We just get the recommendation more than anything else. So I just want to make sure I understand some numbers, Dr. Hire. So 226 applied for the AP pool in 2019, and 73 were selected to be in the pool?
The total, yes, came to 73
at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And of those 73, how many of those were, and if you don't know the answer, I'm happy to get it in an email, promise. How many of those were outside candidates?
I do have that from last year.
Gold star.
Let's see. 28, well, I have what went on to the RIBS one.
Sure.
Okay. In 1920, 69 internal were sent the next step, the RIBS, they met the criteria, and 28 external.
And so, but we don't know how many of that, and that's fine. I would be curious how many of those 28 ended up in the pool. And you don't have to have that. You don't have to have that number right now. Really, it can be an email. And would you say, since you provided the ethnicity for the thing, would you say that the pool is reflective of what the charts that you provided?
I'm sorry.
So, of the candidates in the pool, would you say that that is reflective of the chart you provided for the elementary or the middle or the high school, the overall candidate selection?
You know, I'm not comfortable saying yes or no, to be honest with you, because Dr. Hire and I haven't looked at that, so I don't think I can answer that. I think we'd want to come back and let you know that a little bit more accurately.
I'd just be curious if what that pool ethnicity looked like in comparison to what is actually on some campuses. And then this is just maybe Leadership Matters. Is that a professional learning that we provide in the district?
Yes, ma'am.
So if I'm not from the district and you said it was kind of a requirement.
It's not a requirement. It's something that we are looking to, though.
You kind of said that was I guess I misunderstood that it was one of the things that you look for to help somebody move on.
It is absolutely a look for, yes, ma'am. But it's not a requirement. If you've not been in there, it's not a gatekeeper, so to speak.
Okay.
It is certainly a helper. Yeah.
And then let me see. I have all these questions. The questions that you provided, especially like for Kilo, who creates those questions?
Yeah. So in that particular,
I know you assign them to different people to ask.
Absolutely. So in that instance, the questions are developed by the interview committee. In that instance, again, campus staff and my colleagues to the left.
And then
we have a whole bank of questions they can start from or create from scratch as well.
So, but then you just randomly assign them to
No, ma'am.
people, or you?
It's the questions that they provided. So we have a process by which
Okay.
they, when we sit down to meet, to look at candidates, et cetera, part of that day is built around developing questions before they leave. Excuse me. And as Dr. Rapp pointed out, we've got some questions that have been developed actually by Cornerstone, but they also have the opportunity to develop their own. They submit all that to us in a Google Doc. I kind of edit them, make sure that we're not asking the same question every time, and disperse them by the individual who submitted them.
Okay, that makes a little
And then they
more
get to
sense.
ask, and then they get to ask their own question.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess the only other question I have for the AP interview team, is that committee changed year to year? Or do you keep, or do you know what I mean? Or do
It's the same stable type of group the past 2 years. There are alternates because, of course, things happen in life. But, you know, anybody new, absolutely. We look at anybody that's come up. I know we've had several people take new positions, you know, that we don't have to pull them off the campus now. So, of course, we'd love to have more people participate. Welcome.
And those 40 that you mentioned, they're just automatically in the pool this coming year?
That's one of the things actually that we talk about every year in the run-up to the process is should we carry over, as Dr. Hire mentioned, we purged 2 years ago, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's a topic of conversation we'll have this year.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes,
I
ma'am, thank you.
appreciate it.
Ms. Hassett?
One of them is something I've already asked you about, is the feedback. So just explain to the board the feedback for the people who didn't make it into the pool,
Mhm.
as well as the feedback for the people who weren't selected for the position, to making sure that we're growing our staffing so that they can know what to work on for future.
I spend a lot of time with the APs on feedback. I'm passionate about that, actually, and that's why I really like being an alternate, not somebody doing all the interviews every day, because I can take that information, because I've asked everybody to take notes, as if somebody else were reading them for feedback, and it's been so helpful, I feel, with what people have told me after they come visit with me, if it's on phone or if they come in person. You know, I can say, well, what I'm seeing here is maybe a trend. Somebody's written no depth or something to that nature. You answered the question, but maybe more examples or some examples. So you know, it's my personal feeling, but I do feel that the people who have reached out to me, and that's an option when we send those emails, you know, you can reach out to me. I go pull the files and I read through them. I look at the ribs and I offer any suggestions that I can think of. I've been through the process myself, and I think that's helping.
As far as principals go, I misspoke earlier when I said the last group is a group that we email. That is absolutely incorrect. Usually Dr. Coburn's office or my office will call the folks that are not successful, and we'll have those conversations pretty immediately, which I think is beneficial for the candidates that didn't get the position.
There's frequently follow-up appointments after that, you know, somebody wanting some additional feedback. Especially, I mean, with our internals, of course, it's a great professional learning opportunity for any of them.
Right.
There's professional learning as well for the APs, for aspiring APs is what I like to call it, the leadership cohort, similar to the principal one. So anybody in-house, you know, that's something, if I don't see it on the resume, I suggest, hey, maybe this is something you want to look into. Opens your perspective.
Right. And then the pool, for the carryover pool, how do you handle that when someone else might have gained skill, but if you only have, do you allow people who did not make it in last year, if you carry over?
Yeah, in the past, if a candidate was in the group for just to say 1 year and didn't get selected, but has built some skills, either internal professional learning or external professional learning, it's not been unknown that they want to interview again, which we've allowed. The purpose of the pool is to have a group of candidates to send out to campus, so they would have an opportunity with the hiring authority, so to speak, to see that additional skill level that they've developed. They wouldn't need to reprove themselves if they're once in the pool. Although we have had in the past, you know, folks say, hey, I'd like to interview again, we certainly are not opposed to that. Thank you.
Ms. Cox?
Some of mine were answered, but please bear with me. But thank you, Dr. Bonner, Dr. Hare, for putting this together. It really helps give an understanding of kind of really how the pool works and how hiring works in the district, so I really, really do appreciate it. Just a couple of questions I have just for clarification. So do we open it up to people in the district before we post it online, just to give them an opportunity?
For the assistant principals, for both. The posting goes out at the same time. So for the assistant principals, they have the same opportunity and timeline, just like the principals do.
Okay. The next one was the ribs, is that what you call it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What does it look like if a person, some people aren't good on video and don't look good and don't fare well? So how is that judged? Because I hear that a lot from people going, oh, I bombed it. I just didn't do well. But really, they're a good candidate.
Yeah, I wouldn't say anybody ever bombs it, to be honest with you. We get that occasionally from candidates. Oh my gosh, can I do it over again? I didn't really do a very good job. And I wouldn't necessarily say that's true in most instances. Dr. Rapp is famous for not watching them, but listening. Right?
Listen.
And that's a strategy.
Sounded like
And the other thing I would say is that process is a great benefit in screening. I would not tell you this evening that it hasn't excluded folks, but I would also tell you it's not the sole determinant on not being invited for an interview.
I think candidates are a lot harder on themselves
Absolutely.
than we would ever be. Just like students leave a test and go, I flunked that, and then they get their grade back and they really made a B. So I think people leave it and they think, boy, I did not do well, when really they're just being a lot harder on themselves than they should be.
Well, that was the answer I was looking for, that it wasn't based solely on that.
Well, it is absolutely not the sole criteria which will get you excluded. But it is used for
Right.
as a discriminating value, right?
Okay, bear with me. I'm sorry, I'm running through these. So the training, the leadership cohorts that we do, how does this affect the pool? Like, are we creating our leaders to, get them to apply for these jobs? And
So Dr. Miller's group conducts the leadership cohort for assistant principals and leadership matters for principal candidates. And I guess what I would say to that is the content they're covering ought to put them in a better position to be able to interview for the positions they seek. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sometimes you're ready for that position, but then sometimes you're really not. You probably need more training. So I didn't know if that was encouraged through the leadership team or just, okay, I think I'm ready, I'm going to apply right now. If that was up to the individual.
I think yes.
Yes. Okay. The new system that we're going to be doing, how is that going to open up the pool for selections that you were talking about outside of internal? For outside candidates?
I'm excited about our new system. We haven't done the implementation yet, so some of that remains to be seen. But I can say that one of the features that was attractive to that system was the social media piece, which actually you and I have talked about. So I think it's going to open up some avenues into the district for external candidates that haven't been there in the past, given our easier ability to post on social media. So I think we'll get into some areas that we haven't been able to tap into before.
I'm very, very excited about that. So who is allowed to attend the campus meetings? Are all the teachers allowed, or who is allowed to be at those meetings?
Yeah, so the listening tour are usually open to anybody at the campus now because the purpose is we want to hear from you, we want to get input from you, and then we certainly deliver the Google form, the survey form, to everybody on the campus. They're able to fill it out or not, just like they're able to attend the meeting or not. We do narrow that filter down after we get that information on the leadership attributes and the potential questions and do you want to participate. We do narrow it down to the 4 or the 6 people for that campus committee. But before that, we send everything to everyone and invite everyone to attend the listening tour.
But what does that look like? So you just announce, hey, I'm going to be on your campus, 3 o'clock
Yes.
this day, and whoever wants to come.
Yes, ma'am. Usually it's myself or Dr. Heyer, and then either Dr. Coburn or the assistant chief for that school. I believe Dr. Rapp's gone to some. Dr. Rogers has gone to some. Hey, we'll be out here the afternoon of May 13th. come meet. We want to talk with you about leadership attributes for the new principal. What are you looking for, that kind of thing.
So is it more feedback that you're gaining or more you talking and
It's the former. It's mostly feedback that we're getting.
Okay.
Yeah.
From
I mean,
what they're looking for.
we coach along, right? Here's what we need to know from you. But, yeah, no, it's not.
Okay.
To Mrs. Prosnick's earlier question, there's a lot of question development for an interview that comes beginning with that. You find out what matters to people, and that information gets brought back, and that's part of the process that leads to the development of the appropriate questions to address what we hear.
For that campus. Oh, that's great. That's good to hear. Okay, bear with me. I'm so sorry. So how are the teachers chosen to serve on that committee?
That's a great question. Thank you for asking that, because we didn't talk about that at all, other than we pick a wide diversity of experience and a wide diversity of discipline or grade level. I work with the assistant chief for that school level to determine those individuals. I don't know those individuals. The assistant chief does. So collaboratively, we look at those candidates. Usually my role in that is to make sure that we are picking a diversity of experience and a diversity of discipline or grade level, and the assistant chief is, giving some input on, hey, this person would be great on a team, et cetera, and then we narrow it down. Sometimes that's an easy process if you're at an elementary school or if not many people have volunteered, and it becomes a much more onerous process if you're at a high school and 72 people have said they want to participate.
But are you giving a criteria? Because, I think that's a valid point to have diversity and also, the different grade levels or different things that they're looking for in a candidate. Do you give that criteria going, here's kind of what we would like to see on the committee?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We tell them that we're looking for a representative body of the campus.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wouldn't want it to be their best friends or something all serving on the committee.
Absolutely not.
Yes, right. What does the interview process look like? Do you all sit here and kind of intimidate the candidate and they have to sit here and then talk to you? Or what does that look like for the live interview?
Well, usually at the interview, we've got, a series of questions, 8, 10 questions or so. The first round is the presentation. And so the principal candidates and the assistant principal candidates develop that presentation before they come in. We send them a prompt. They develop it before they come in. We ask them to do it in some software format, some electronic format, so they can present. Sometimes candidates will, all the times candidates will do that, but sometimes they'll bring a printed document with them to hand out that'll have artifacts, and so they have an opportunity to do that. We listen. We really don't ask too many clarifying questions at that point. We fill the rubric out. We have them exit for a few minutes while we're doing that. And then fill the rubric out, set that aside, have them come back in and answer the interview questions we have. I would say that's probably a more traditional interview format. Hopefully we're not daunting, but maybe we are. Hope not. One of the things we do to assist the candidates, because if you've got an interview with 10 or 12 questions, it's easy to get lost in that, and it's easy to quit listening. So we provide, a stack of questions so they can keep along as the question's being asked and formulate an answer maybe while we're talking if they read the question. So we conduct it in that manner. I'll take a moment of personal opportunity here. I've been involved in interviews where I did not feel like I was treated fairly or in a kind fashion, and I would never want that for a candidate, simply because you're not getting the best out of that candidate at that point in time. We're going to make the best decision for the campus or the district. The last thing we need to do is intimidate someone by the process so that they're not on their A game.
Yeah. I'm sorry, just one more question and then a comment. So at what point in time, what is the time frame that letter goes out, that you're sorry, or you're hired with the district? What does that time frame look like? Is it
Hired,
10
like
days
they got
after
a job offer, or they made the pool?
Or you didn't, we're not going to be
Okay,
hiring you.
in the pool. Okay, not a job, but in the
The job offer. Because you said you send a letter out saying basically, we're sorry, you're not going to.
Oh, yes, make the pool.
Yeah.
Okay, so when that pool is made, what we do is, when that last interview is done, because we don't want to say, first day and, we're going to send her a sorry letter already. We wait till they're all done, because again, when we take them all And like I said, they'll put up all the scores that came in the end. There's going to be a natural break. And, you know, we want to make sure that we keep a viable pool. So maybe this natural top is going to be enough to suffice for now. Maybe there's 50 in there, and that'll start us off for the year. But we want to, maybe it'll last the whole year. But then we want to leave a few in there. So I send an email that says, you know, this one is congratulations after the last interview. Also, then, for now, you have not made the pool. However, please keep your information current, as we'd love to contact you in the future should we need to replenish the pool.
How about on the, I think she's asking on the assistant principal, once you make an offer to assistant principal, then when do the emails go out? And also, I think probably you want to know how fast do those phone calls make at the principal or other levels?
So I believe Dr. Heyer addressed her into the process on the pool. As far as, if I understood Ms. Sells' clarification of Ms. Cox's question, yeah, the job offer by the principals for the assistant principals, I'm really not too sure. I would hope it's pretty prompt, because after someone's interviewed for a job, then you get some feedback pretty quickly. As far as the principal interview goes, for the first round, where we're looking at many candidates, once we've picked the 2 or 3 or 4 that we're going to interview, then I send an email out, because there's no reason to have that wait. The feedback to the folks that actually sat down for the interview, that feedback is pretty much like that. It depends on what time we get out of here that evening. If it's early in the afternoon, we'll make the calls that day. If it's not, it's the first thing we do the next day. Does that?
Yes, that's
okay.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Ms. Sells. And my last is just a comment to piggyback off what Ms. Hassett said. I just think it's so important. We have some true talent here, as you already know, in this district, and I think it's so important that we help develop them and grow them, and that feedback is so important. I mean, I can tell you from personal experience, I mean, going from interview, I left and I didn't get the job. I just wanted to know why and what I could do to help grow myself. So I really think that's important, and I'm glad the district does that to help those candidates maybe seek another position.
Generally speaking, we'll visit with anybody that wants that feedback.
So they have to come to you, though?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
It's offered in the email to contact me with the APs, and I do spend a lot of time with them. And I really do. I enjoy it because I would want it.
Yes.
I do want to say that Dr. Miller did point out that we've been talking about Leadership Matters and the leadership cohort, but there's other things too for, I call them the aspiring principals. There's the coaching and critical friends and different, like solution tree, things where they can learn more about the data and the community they serve and how to best coach, have those critical conversations. So I love that LISD, the size we are, we're able to do that in-house and provide that as a learning opportunity. That's one of the things I look for right away when I'm helping somebody maybe here look at this. Oh, I didn't think about putting that on my resume. It's like, well, here, what else? What other questions do you have? I think it's a critical part.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Timish?
I have a question just regarding the screening committees. Just having just been on the periphery with some of them, have we ever considered for the teachers, when we have 4 to 6 on the committee, having maybe 4 from the campus and 2 that are, like if it's elementary, having 2 elementary teachers but not specific to that campus, just elementary teachers that know what a good principal would look like? Because one of the things I see is we've got a herd mentality. We just get a group and we get excited about one candidate, and like we're all 6 in on this one candidate, and there's a lot of disappointment when that one candidate is not picked. And so I just wondered if maybe sometimes when you have fresh eyes that are at another dynamic campus, and then they can come in and just say, you know what, here's some things that I've seen at my campus. So it's just really, I think, bringing another unique set of diversity, especially as we're looking at, you know, we're cross-connecting across.
We've actually done that at the high school level. When we have a 9 or a 9-10 campus that feeds in, we've introduced the 9 or 9-10 principal. I don't think we've added teachers
I'd actually
in
not
on that.
see that as the same. Like if you're talking about like at a Marcus 9, and then you introduce like some, I still consider like, they really consider themselves the same campus. I'm talking like including a Flower Mound or a Lewisville or a
we have not.
So that you've got 1 or 2 just voices that understand what a great leader is, but are just bringing a different perspective. And I really think that that would just, even in questioning it, would help when you've just got a group of teachers that are just really focused on hiring one principal.
Yeah.
And I think that, sometimes they can say, you know what, here's some, I think they would just bring a unique set of
Yeah.
eyes. Just a thought,
Sure.
just wanted to suggest it. The only other question I have, when you said that when you went to your final timeline, then the board approves, do we, and this might be for more Ms. Brim, do we let campuses know that we're going to be announcing the principal? And I know that I love that each campus can be individual, but do we just say, and by the way, most campuses have the PTA there, parents there, a gift there? Because I've just seen over the years, some are great about naturally coming to celebrate their principal, but I have been here when a principal had 2 people in the audience. And so, which is heartbreaking. It was a long time, it was, I was first hired, and I wanted to actually stand up there, but I wasn't a part of the process. And so I didn't know if we were communicating to the campuses, just to kind of make sure that we don't ever get, again, a principal up there that doesn't have a group of people in the audience celebrating that new hire.
I think human
All of that, okay, so it's not communicated?
That's not a communication.
I just,
So-
Amanda,
so
just
we-
bring everything, yeah, marketing, yeah.
Yeah.
And that may be something that we can.
I'm not trying to add to your plate, I just,
It just may be something that we can, depending on how they're communicating it now, maybe something that we can.
just the
kinda
optics
have an
looked really,
expectation or whatever, but, I do think part of it is just how that campus is.
and I understand that, but I can tell you as a parent that for that campus, I was really, really sad for that principal, because I was like, we're so excited to have you, but there's nobody. And when you post that picture on social media, it looks like there's nobody else that was excited about it. And so it's just not a criticism, just sometimes campuses don't know, and just a learning opportunity.
Well, and I think, Ms. Timish, to that point, sometimes, especially this last summer, I was shocked at the number that came out over the summer, but then there were some. And I think that the point of hire, sometimes we need to maybe take that into account. And that's not an excuse, that's just an observation.
Well, this was not, my example
Yeah.
was not from that. I just think that we just want to
That'd be-
celebrate every,
We'll
even
look
if
at-
it's.
That'd be an
that.
easy checklist to make.
Thank you.
We'll look
Yeah.
at that.
Mr. Miller?
Dr. Heyer, I don't know that we've had the opportunity to hear much from you, so you can commiserate with them, I guess, that, those who have been here a few times, so thank you. I was going to give you kudos, and then I guess Dr. Rapp stole it, but I like the profound, that when using ribs to kind of not look at it, and I think Angie brought it up, this, kind of nonverbal is the predominant communication, right? And so just some people's nervousness might come out, and just allowing them to get through the process maybe in a different way, I think is helpful. So thank you for that. And Dr. Rapp, I guess you too. But I think that's helpful. I appreciate Angie bringing this forward. I think from a governance perspective, it's really good for us to understand this. I'm generally comfortable with the process, although I wasn't really in the weeds on it. And so, I'm looking at really from an outcomes perspective, right? I won't give you my percentages, but I mean fairly good, I think, for the most part, and mostly I think principals, right? I mean, not to discount APs, that's a feeder into this, but I think really good process and very thorough. Good to have the insights because we ultimately are the ones that approve the hires. So this is, a bit more detailed. Oh, I thought it was my phone. So thank you for that. I was going to say a couple things. I agree with Karonda that notification is important. I think this year, you're not talking about this year. This year was a bit of an exception. We were trying to get people announced so that the campuses could get comfortable, parents could get comfortable, students could get comfortable, and I think it created some less than optimal opportunity for families to be notified, right? It was just a unique situation with, 16 or 17 principals?
18.
18 principals, to be exact. So, but I do think if there's a way, for them to have some visibility, I would say, though, without managing the campuses, to Kronda's point, there should be a level of excitement that is common, right? So maybe if there's a way with y'all or Mark Communications to kind of stoke that, if a campus doesn't have the same capacity or energy level or whatever, that maybe you can help facilitate that excitement. Just a thought. And then lastly, I think, this was brought up, honesty is really important in this process, and I know, Dr. Bonner, you and I have talked about this. I think that sometimes we have a view of ourselves and our capabilities that may not be reflective of what other people think, and or it may be the other side works too, right? Mm-hmm. People don't see in themselves some attributes that maybe good leaders at the campus level or administrative level or y'all would have, and so I think it works both ways, but really more around the side of where candidates, their time to proficiency of the position they want to achieve may be longer than they think. So this is not a 1 or 2 year thing, it's a 3 to 5 year thing. That's just an honest conversation, and if they choose to do something different, that's fine, but it's, right? So I think you guys do that. I'm probably just talking rhetorically here, but that's just something I think that we all need, right? I mean, I had someone do that with me today, right, for something else. I mean, okay, great. It's a great point, right? I think we're always learning. So I appreciate the process you guys go through. Thank you for bringing it forward, Ms. Cox. I think it's helpful for us, again, from a governance perspective. So, yeah, that's my questions.
I didn't really have any question. Well, the question I was going to ask, I think, has been answered. So the applicant pool from last year, you're deciding now whether or not it will carry over.
That's generally a topic of conversation before we enter into the process of building the pool. Yeah.
And regardless, you're going to open it up again in December to add to the pool.
Absolutely.
Or create a new pool.
Absolutely.
Okay, got it.
And that was, Ms. Lasan, that was actually my doing last time to keep them in the pool. We had complaints that, why do I, if I was good enough to make the pool this year, why do I have to keep doing it? And it didn't make sense to me, so we haven't decided on how long we'll continue that, but we'll have something to that effect.
Kind of to piggyback off of that, just in general, does the pool stay around that 70 to 80? Is that about?
Kind of depends.
I know it depends on what or like you talked about where that cutoff is.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And interestingly, the assistant principal hiring kind of undulates year to year. You'll do 25 or 30, and you'll go down to 3. You'll go up to and so it's kind of a guessing game on how many. But really, I would leave it at that discernment point where there's a gap.
And that was kind of my question was, I wondered if that showed high ranges, I guess. Yeah. Is it? I know, it sounds like statistics. Because there's no limit, correct? There's no limit in the pool. You don't set a limit.
If we invited 100 candidates and they all knocked the top out of it, we'd have 100 candidates in the pool. Okay. Under our current practice. Now, that would be problematic for principals in filtering it down to who should I interview. But so that doesn't happen. But there's no predetermined, they've got to score an X on this interview to make it. That is not the case. We look at
that natural gap has occurred every year. And I mean, you can see that. The listening pools, these are made available to only the campus teachers, the listening tour?
No, ma'am. The campus teachers are the folks on the interview committee, but we send the Google Doc out to all staff, Hebron all, Arbor Creek all, and we'll get input from, and those folks can attend the meetings, and we'll get input from campus secretary, counselors, nurses, diagnosticians, assistant principals, but they're not included. Any staff can do it, but they're not included in consideration for the interview itself.
And you usually have those on campus, screening. Usually in the library, if I remember. And how well are those? What is the feedback from that, I think, is where I'm at. Is it high? Is it low? Does it depend on the campus?
Yeah, I would say it would depend on the
All
campus. It's generally good, right, because it's a topic of great interest. There was one campus, which I won't get into which one, but almost everyone attended that one. It was one of our smaller schools. But it's generally a good attendance wherever we are, simply because there's great interest in the next leader at the school.
Okay, I think that was my only questions that weren't covered. Thank you so much, and again, thank you, Ms. Cox. I think that we all kind of had wondered, and this puts it in a great perspective and helps us move forward. So, thank you. Nobody has any other questions. And
All right, I'm gonna jump in on the academic calendar for a second.
Thank you.
So, this is the first of 3 touches that you'll have on this. So really, this is about process. We haven't done the survey yet. Dr. Bonner's in the process of having meetings, with district committee, with the PTA council, so on. So really, the next meeting is going to be the most important one, because the survey will be done, those meetings will be done. So if you have questions, feel free to ask Dr. Bonner. But anyway. I don't know, Buddy, if there's a few things you want to point out or not.
Yeah, if I can just point a couple things out. Thank you, Dr. Rogers. As Dr. Rogers noted, the Academic Calendar Committee has about 30 or so people on it. We've met 3 times. We've also met with the Principal Advisory Committee and the district leadership team. We have a meeting scheduled November 13th with the Council of PTAs. The survey actually is going to be conducted, as we plan it right now, from November 12th to the 22nd. And so by the December 9th meeting, which is when we propose bringing the discussion item back to you all, we should have good numbers from that survey process. You'll see attached to this document is a side-by-side on the 3 calendars that have been developed. There are 2 calendars which I would call standard, one which is termed election, which has a couple of days to in November around the election date on 3rd and 4th, I believe, 2nd and 3rd, wherever it is in there. And then underneath that side-by-side on the minutes, there are some items of note highlighted in yellow: first day of school, election day, spring break, holiday, and last day of instruction. And then underneath that are 3 options that are detailed on the side-by-side. And so that's really pretty much the document.
okay, does anybody have any questions? And we can start with Ms. Hassett.
Yes. I just have a concern on option 3. The fall term has 10 less days than the spring term, and my concern for that is high school. So that really equates to 20 extra days, or 20 days difference between the 2 calendars. 2 semesters, 2 terms that we have. And so I just have a little angst on that particular one. If it's voted, how are we going to ensure 9-week classes, full 18-week classes are not shorted? That's a concern.
Yes, ma'am.
But thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Miller?
No.
Mrs. Vaughn?
Nope.
Mrs. Prosnick?
My only question, because it's not noted in the color categories, is that first semester is ending on all 3 options before winter break.
Yes, ma'am.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
just not denoted in the color coding, and so I
Yes.
just wanted to,
Yes.
it's done in numbers, but I just wanted to make
It
sure.
absolutely is on December 18th. Thank you for asking that.
And my question was along with Ms. Hassett's line, and so we will see. So if there's nothing else, nobody has any other additional questions. If there's no further business, meeting is adjourned. The time is 8:36 p.m. Thank you.